Why, hello and welcome everybody. It is Pohx again, and gee, it has been a long time since we have brought some PoE content to you guys. So I'm here to show you guys what's new with PoE, which is coming up for the new Challenge League, Talisman. Now, just to inform you guys ahead of time, this is something I plan on playing, for like a week to 2 weeks. If I like it more, a bit more, but that's all. So let's go ahead and check out this trailer really fast before I talk about some of the cool stuff in here. And I'm going to explain to you guys why I'm personally excited for this content update. So let's go ahead and check this out, boys. That looks cool. The new physical skills. Let me just... That's what I'm super stoked for, is the new physical skills and the new chaos skills. I'm not really too keen on the bow skills. Some of them look cool, but it's kind of like an up and down thing. Now, I will link this for you guys in the description down below. I'll have the URL copied here along with the video posted down below. So, first off, the Talisman Challenge League. Now, one big thing why I'm super happy about this is in this league, it's no longer a separate hardcore and separate standard league. They've combined both, meaning the Talisman League will be your hardcore league and it will be your standard league. And the reason why this is really important is because you can now focus on just one thing. As the developers, they just have to focus on one thing. We can just focus on one thing. We won't feel like we're forced to play one or the other. Mowgli, calm down. We're making a video here, all right? So that's one thing that's really, really cool. Now, as you can tell, for the way those kind of like shrines look, or the stones, the pillars, etc. I don't know too much about this. I'm jumping in fresh, just like you guys. But one thing I do notice that I want to bring up is it's another mechanic where you have to pretty much stand still and you have to wait for something to happen, which does not really fit the theme of Path of Exile. However, in this scenario, it's a bit different because you can actually obtain things called talismans from these. Talismans will replace your amulets, and they have multiple tiers of amulets. Now, talismans come with the best implicits you can find, and are they're uncraftable because they always come corrupted. And I think that's really cool. Me as a guy, I don't ever really get into like the big bucks, etc. I'm just a casual guy who strolls through and has fun with the game, and I like to make these low budget builds. So just finding something like this is something that you physically cannot craft. One, brings in like a whole new depth to Standard League, because it's literally just the amount of playtime, and makes it so things in the temporary league can even compare with stuff you can find over there. Stone circles. As you explore Ray class in the Talisman Leagues, you'll encounter circles of floating stones assembled by ancient Enzomite druids. You can sacrifice a set of 5 different talismans from the same tier to summon a monster possessed by a talisman from the next tier. So there actually is a use for shitty talismans. You can create new and higher ones. Defeating a summoned monster to claim their talisman allows you to either improve your build with its powerful implicit properties, or save up for your set of talismans to try for the next tier. You can see here 25% increased maximum energy shield. This is like 6, 12, 18, 24. This is like 4 to 5 nodes on the skill tree. 50% of cold damage taken is fire. That's absurd, because you can run a purity. Like, say you're not even playing a righteous fire build. What is it? There's like barbarism plus purity of fire. Boom, you're good to go. Also, this might even reduce, I could be wrong on this one, it's been a while since I played PoE, but if you're taking less cold damage overall, let's be honest, the last time I remember, Ignite has been terrible. Whenever you get ignited, you just laugh it off. However, reducing the amount of cold damage you take and converting it to fire would reduce the duration of a freeze because it's less upfront cold damage, right? Which is always a good thing. 14% increased dexterity. I don't really know how to feel about this. Dexterity has never been like the primary stat. I know strength goes to Iron Will and HP. Intel goes to Energy Shield and like Whispering Ice. Dexterity is accuracy, which you don't really need that much accuracy for the most part. And evasion, I don't know how I feel about that one. Anyway, these are I don't even know. There's like so many different tiers. So, Thane Rigwald, the Wolven King. When you sacrifice 5 of the 3rd tier of talismans, a portal will open to the den of the Wolven King, where you can challenge Rigwald himself. Possessed by the greatest of talismans, he possesses a lethal threat, but one yielding a substantial prize. So this could be a new Edsiri boss. I have no clue. I don't really know. I don't want to comment on it because I personally don't like Edsiri, so I'm just gonna leave that alone. You know, I'm sure it's gonna be really cool, but I'm just gonna, you know, scrap that, and that's for something else. Challenges and rewards. 32 challenge leagues that can descend in difficulty. And you do get new cosmetics now, so that's cool. So there's actually a reason behind doing challenges now. You do get rewarded with cosmetics. New skill and support gems. 8 new skill gems and 4 new support gems. 3 categories of skills are being introduced to both power up existing builds and to provide entirely new builds that didn't previously exist. So there's new bow skills. I don't really use bows too much. Summon a totem that attacks with a piercing arrow. Wait, summon attacks with piercing arrows. It attacks slowly but deals increased damage. Arrows always pierce, deals 140% of base with really slow attack speed. Blast Rain. Now, my only issue with these skills is this is just me. I don't really like it when skills are converted. I mean, it's cool and all, but sometimes I just want to play a build that doesn't have all this converting, because there's so much converting in the game already. Isn't it? Like, there's like, just to name off a few, there's like Static Strike, Infernal Blow. In bows, you have like Burning Arrow, Ice Shot, Lightning Arrow, and now it's just more things. I feel like maybe they should just add a pure elemental skill or a pure physical, just to kind of make a little bit of diversity. Again, that's just one of my few quarrels. It's nothing bad against it. But it could be cool to see some different types, because, I don't know, you got like, I guess bows are actually in like a kind of okay spot. You have Rain of Arrow, which usually gets outshined though by like Split Arrow or, not Barrage, but a Tornado Shot. But this is what I want to see. Physical damage spells. This is more for my playstyle here. So you've got Blade Vortex, which deals 5 to 7 physical damage. Base duration, can have up to 50 spinning blades. So you can actually create a bunch of blades and just run through. Whether it's, you know, cast some damage taken or other scenarios that you could do. This sounds pretty cool. Bladefall. Ethereal weapons rain from the sky, dealing damage to enemies in a sequence of volleys, each wider but less damaging than the last. Enemies can be hit multiple times where these overlap. So this kind of sounds like a physical firestorm, which is pretty cool as well. I know I don't personally like the mechanics too much of Firestorm, but this says you can hit multiple times, so this could be really, really interesting. Now here's the one where I'm really excited about. These 3 categories right here is what I played PoE for. New chaos damage spells. Alright. Contagion. Unleashes a vile contagion on enemies, dealing chaos damage over time. If an enemy dies while affected by contagion, it spreads to other enemies. So this is kind of like an elemental proliferation to an extent. Modifiers to spell damage also apply to the skill's damage over time. Essence Drain. Fires a projectile that applies the damage over time debuff when it hits. You are healed for a portion of the debuff damage. So GGG realized that Leech sucks, so we'll create a skill that'll actually heal us based off that. Thank you for acknowledging us. I love you guys. So, that's really cool. Adding in some type of, you know, life leech mechanics on an actual skill is something really cool. These are new mechanics that I feel are being introduced, which is always fun. Let's see. And the debuff is spread by contagion, so these literally go hand in hand. And then Wither. Casts a debilitating effect on enemies in the area, slowing their movement speed and applying a stacking debuff that increases the chaos damage they take. So this is like all really, really cool. So this is kind of bringing in like a chaos, not as an element, but it's adding a new thing as chaos. So another thing that I really like is there's new support gems that came out. So one is Controlled Destruction. You get a multiplier to spell damage, with the quality giving a percentage increase, and reducing the critical strike chance. That's okay. There's so many characters, there's so many skills in general, that don't, like, there's always like that one thing missing, and what do you always put in? Empower. So this could be really cool for that, because, you know, sometimes you don't need to scale a skill with proj speed, sometimes you don't need to scale it with AoE, sometimes you don't want to use conk. So this will just add in an extra thing to run for non-crit builds to really help them out. I feel this could essentially be like really, really cool as well for freezing builds, to get that extra damage off so that you can actually freeze. So that's really cool. Void Manipulation. Reduced elemental damage, more chaos damage. It's just a free multiplier. Rapid Decay. Reduced skill effect duration, more damage over time. And my favorite, this specific right here, this support gem is what makes me want to play PoE. This one support gem, if they said screw it to everything else, I would still come back just to play because of this. Supported curse spells are cast as auras, alright? So now you can reserve a portion of your mana, alright? Attach an aura to it, alright? Or sorry, attach a curse to it, and the curse will become an aura. So you can scale your builds with AoE like you would normally do, and whenever you play like melees or other characters, you no longer have that goddamn hassle of cursing. And this is why this is important. When you have monsters, say like your AoE is about 80% of the screen, when you have monsters that, like, for example, a pack of white mobs, right? Nobody ever wants to curse a pack of white mobs because you're like wasting time. So this will just automatically do it for you. Whenever you're running away from mobs or bosses, or whenever like a pack enters and comes in from a new pack, this will automatically have it debuffed. Whenever you're playing melees, sometimes it's really annoying to, you know, you have to like blood magic this and you have to do this, and it takes too much time, you're cursing every pack. Melees can now leech. You attach, you know, Warlord's Mark to this. My personal favorite, though, is being able to tag temporal chains to this, and literally any character you play, you can slow everything. That is such, you know, I fucking applaud GGG so much for introducing this, because this is such an awesome change. This is just so cool. There's no longer those times where, like, you're playing a super defensive tri-curse character, but the Roas from off-screen hit you. I mean, sure, the damage might still be snapshotted even though they're entering, but at least they're cursed when they're entering your zone with like, temporal chains, so you can physically dodge it. Like, this is like the best thing to ever happen. Alright, continued balance changes. Another thing I'm super psyched for. In this content update, we're rebalancing most skills and making mechanical changes to many. We're also improving several game systems, including monster damage, good job, leech, fucking love you, the passive skill tree, awesome, mana cost for melee skills, really good, spell progression for high-level casters, the power of low-level bows, and the power of early minion skills. This is like everything that needs to be addressed pretty much all in one. They didn't put melee splash in there, but I think they said they're reworking that later. And I'm going to go over each one individually and why. So first off, mana cost for melee skills kind of sucks, because if you get like an early 5-link, you're not forced to go blood magic, alright? But for a lot of scenarios, you need to run some type of leech on the tree until you're able to make it up later. Not everybody always wants to spec 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 points, and I understand, you know, this isn't too big of an issue. There are much more appropriate things, or I guess higher necessity things to be addressed first. But some skill costs were like outrageous, like Wild Strike and things like that. Alright, spell progression for high level casters. This was okay. I don't know too much about this because I haven't played much in this league, so I don't really know too much about this, but I do know it's cool just thinking, because casters can always scale off their skill gem, so it'd be like, I don't want to run maps until this is 17, or I don't want to run maps until this is 18. So I'm curious to know if they're lowering it or buffing it. Leech. Leech was terrible when I played, so I'm glad to see that it's being addressed in some type of way. From what I've been told, it's still kind of poop. And monster damage. Monster damage to me was one of the biggest turnoffs in 2.0, because at least the way I played and for my playstyle, everything just bursted you down so much, and specifically in my region of builds, in the Shadow to Witch to Templar area, there was unfortunately very little life and very few defensive options, and you were kind of forced to go in one kind of routine if you wanted to run high-end content. So I'm glad to see a bit of stuff is being adjusted there. Mowgli, please! Like 5 minutes! 5 minutes, Mokes! Alright, now another thing, if you note, I don't know if they talked about this too much, but they're really actually making the Shadow like the Chaos class. And this is, Shadow is my favorite class, and that's really cool. You can see, you can see here, I think someone told me they're replacing elemental damage with like Chaos damage for Shadow, and you can go Chaos or Spell. And you can see here there's actually Chaos damage, like a Chaos wheel, right here. And that's so cool, man. Like they're kind of changing up the skill tree and making it so each class is a little niche on its own. So that was really cool to see. Additionally, they're adding in some new uniques, and I only want to go over one, so sorry, this is the only one we're going to show here. This is a shield for Fire Trap, boys. Socketed traps create a smoke cloud when triggered, which means you get a free blind, and you don't run unwavering stance on trappers. So you get increased fire damage to blinded enemies, reduce spell damage taken from blinded enemies. That's really fucking cool, dude. That's really cool. I don't know if I'm going to play a trap. Actually, I am going to play a trapper, but I want to play more of a contagion trapper. And I could do like a damage over time. I wanted to run like vulnerability and temp chains, because trappers don't need to run too many auras, so could do some really cool stuff. Just imagine a walking vulnerability temp chainer. Just, oh, I'm excited, dude. I really don't want to be let down by this patch. So this was pretty fucking cool, dude. I'm excited. So, you know, you guys let me know what you think. This is coming out on December 11th. I have to see exactly what my plans are for then. I might not be able to go, you know, super crazy, jumping between Blade and Soul and Tree of Savior, but we're gonna see exactly what happens. But I am really excited to be playing in this one, because there's so much new stuff. This feels like the Forsaken Masters update all over again for me, and that was my favorite expansion, you could say. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, tell me, you guys, in the comments what your favorite parts are, and tell me what you think about my Contagion Trapper, because we're gonna have some cool fun, alright, boys? Anyway, I will see you guys later. I cannot wait to theorycraft with a new skill tree. We'll definitely have some stuff and some videos up there, and I hope to see you guys all tomorrow. Take care, boys.